Feel the coolness of the air as you breathe in and the warmth as you breathe out. You could just let it fall through the floor because you're a powerful martial artist. It was at Camp Simcha that I came across the reality that I now lecture about in the medical world. I came upon this 5-year-old child in the infirmary in camp who was having his port access for his chemotherapy. 2 nurses are pinning him down. A 3rd nurse has a large syringe to plunge into his chest. And I just said to the nurses, give me 5 minutes with this child. And I said to him, you know, I'm a black belt, which doesn't mean much, but to a little kid, it's a wow. I said, do you want me to teach you some karate? He almost jumped off the table. I explained to him, in the martial arts, you learn that pain is a message you don't have to listen to. You could breathe in this amazing chi, this energy, and push out the pain. Watch me. 20 minutes later, they pulled out the needle, and he looked up at the nurse and he said, did you do it yet? And that's when Kids Kicking Cancer was born.
Wow. Power, peace, purpose.
If you have a drug that works on 30% of the population, you have a hit. If you have a drug that works on 40% of the population, you're a superstar. 85% of the kids had a reduction in pain, of which the general across-the-board average of pain reduction was 40%. That's the remarkability of Kids Kicking Cancer.
My mom got a phone call from one of the social workers, said, hey, there's this guy that wants to start a karate class for kids that have cancer. You think Michael would be interested?
I'm thinking about getting my daughter well. I'm not thinking about no program.
The martial arts is the carrot, but the key is giving the kids that internal strength for them to know that they can fight anything that comes their way. Not a physical opponent, but just the things that's going on within their body, and then the exterior things too, like frustration, anger.
It's so empowering for them to come somewhere and feel like they have power, like they have purpose, like they're in control for that minute of time.
Good job.
We started coming, and the more she came, the more stronger she became. She'd just take her deep breaths, and she'll just get her shot done and be out before you know it.
Doctors were still wanting to put me on pain medications, and I'd tell them, no, I'm a powerful martial artist. I'm gonna just breathe through it, push out the pain.
You breathe in the light and you blow out the darkness. The light can be anything peaceful, nice, like world peace. You breathe out the darkness, like when something hurts really badly.
We let our kids know you can fight that. You don't have to fall a victim to it.
It just taught me to be strong about what I'm going through and taught me to teach the world.
Their purpose is to teach the world. Once they've learned these techniques, once they've mastered them, now they have to go show the world.
You know, if you can make someone's life here a little easier while we're here, because none of us are getting out here alone.
7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 1.
Good. Breathe in the light and push out the darkness. The greatest tragedy is not the death of a child. Some of these children have impacted this world so powerfully, and that light's forever. To me, the greatest tragedy is to be with someone who's 95 years old, who's dying, and they don't have a clue why they lived. My first teacher for the therapy of Kids Kicking Cancer began with my daughter. Today, her disease, leukemia, it's a very, very treatable children's illness, but it wasn't the same thing 34 years ago. She would lie on top of me during the bone marrow transplant at UCLA. But one day she pushed herself off of me, and I saw her eyes were rolling back as if she were going into shock. And I said, "Sir Basha, come back to Abba." And she looked at me and she said, "No." And I said to her, "Well, we can go here. We go to the zoo. We can go all the places we talked about and dreamt about leaving the hospital to go to." And very clearly, she kept saying no. And then I asked her, "Where do you want to go?" The bed at UCLA was right next to the window, and she pointed up to heaven. And I said, "Do you want to go to Hashem?" Which means God. And she said yes. And that's when she took the bottle and began to drink it and seemed to calm down. But at that point, I felt I was talking to an old soul. and I begged her to stay. But in the process of her life and in her death, she taught us that no matter what we face in our lives, we can breathe in the light and blow out the darkness, and know that when you can illuminate this planet, which can know so much darkness, with that light, it makes all the difference in the world.
One more strong bow.
Power, peace, purpose. Power, peace, purpose.
Power, peace, purpose. And that's power, peace, purpose.